Okay, so let's take a look a little bit more at Geometry Sketchpad. I want to get you set up for the first activity we're going to do in Geometry Sketchpad. So I'm going to create a line segment. Okay, so I'm going to click over here to the line. I'm going to do it this way. There's a couple of ways you can do this. As you get used to Geometry Sketchpad, you'll do that. But I click for a point, click for another point. Okay, I want to call this segment AB, so I'm going to use the A tool like we did in the last video and go to A and B. If you got these points screwed up, you could double click and you could change things around, but if you follow along, and the naming doesn't really matter so much, right? In the activity you might have instructions tell you to name something. If you just change it from there on out, you'd be okay if you didn't do it that way. So another useful thing we can do in Sketchpad is I can hide objects. Let's say I didn't want this line segment here anymore. I can go up to Display and I can click Hide Segment. Right? So sometimes that's helpful to clear up your screen. I can also go back up to Display and go to Show All Hidden. Right? So sometimes you might be asked to do that to make things a little bit easier to see. Now I want to construct my first circle. When we do constructions by hand, you use arcs. Right? In Geometry Sketchpad, we don't have an arc tool. We just have a circle tool. So a common way we do that is, let's say I wanted to construct a circle AB, for instance, where A is the center and B is the radius point. Well, if I click my circle tool, I can take A as the radius, and now as I go outwards, I can select that point there. Now I have circle AB, right, where A is the center. Right? I can do the same thing now and click outside, deselect that, and I can go from B right over to A, and that's another circle that I can have. Okay, so useful way to do this. You'll notice with what I created. Let me shrink this down a little bit. You'll notice with what I created that now I have two circles intersecting. If I want to get access to that, I can click that, and a point will be displayed, right, which could be helpful. So there's lots of different ways we can work with these things. Okay, so be creative in what you're doing with Geometry Sketchpad. Usually, I'm going to give you a lot of activities where you're following along with the activity, where you're doing things that it's explicitly telling you how to do. Right? So watch for that and just follow the steps along, and you'll have a lot of fun with Sketchpad.